for me, is a question mark. Hey guys,
we are back.
Yes, with another video.
How did I do it? I don't know.
DJ Khalid?
No.
What? DJ Khalid would be like another one.
Not that shit.
So how I don't know what you want to say? I say it.
I don't know what I want to say.
Wow, you see, that's that shit. That's that shit right there.
Yeah, guys. So
this one is going to be would we move back home? And this one is kind of touchy. For a lot of reasons, because obviously you would want to go back home at some point, because that's where majority of our family is.
And for the newbies or anybody that is not super familiar with us, back home is the British Virgin Islands. That's where we were born and raised.
Yeah. For me, it's a question mark. Let's just say it's a question mark. Like I said, like what some days I think like when I'm homesick, it's like I want to go back home. And then the next time when you really think about the opportunities and just the culture, no shade but shade. If you're from Tatola, you know what I mean.
Not our authentic culture, but it's more so like our behaviors towards each other.
Yeah, like
because when you say culture, that's
and I don't think it's something specific to Tatola, but I think it's a Caribbean thing, like small island.
It's black people.
Small island mentality, you know, like we judging each other and oh yeah, them had to come back home because things ain't work up out of there.
That ain't even just.
But you really have to get to a point too where you mature enough to tune people out. And I know for sure mean that like I the kind of person not that I gotta respond to everything. But if you come at me the wrong way, I gotta answer you back. So, just from that perspective, and not only that, with everything that we do in here, you gotta think about things like how you're gonna ship products to your customers, like all the different things. We would have to be set up in the States in terms of like having a team, a warehouse, all of that, in order to be able to move back home. And then even thinking about our kids too is like, you're thinking about things like gymnastics and all the different things that America offers. Why would I go back home to limit myself? Yes, I enjoy my culture, and I would want to give back, of course, to the economy and stuff. But if you're looking at it holistically, it's kind of like, I could see my father being like, why I come back down here to do?
Facts. That's like granny. Granny will
why you come back down here to do
every day and be like.
But you gotta think, you know, holistically. Like, why would I take my skill set and especially in a place where don't really embrace innovation and all these different things? They don't embrace young people trying to again. Don't get vexed with me, no. Don't take it the wrong way. But I speaking the truth. We know it's the truth. It's not a place that welcomes change. And for me, I don't get exposed to so much in living in America. I would want to instill different things. Like some of the ideas we have is like strip malls and all these different things. Like things at Tatola. I think I have a some kind of little plaza or something. But making it really like you feel like you walk in Dolphin Mall, Miami.
Fact.
Obviously, it requires money, but just saying out loud some of the things that we have in mind.
It's about the experience. It ain't just about, okay, bam, you get a piece of land and you put on a building. It's about really making it a vibe, an experience, something that people get excited about. Like, yeah, it's Saturday, I going, you know, like you want to shop there. And it's like, right now, it's like just picture you as, if you're from Tatola, if you're from the Virgin Islands, picture you, and let me don't say Virgin Islands, let me say Tatola. Picture you as a everyday consumer, right? And it's like, where you shopping? Where you shopping that local? Unless you're talking about groceries, obviously, right? But where you shopping that local? When you try and get your clothes, when you try and get your accessories, when you try and get Like,
not to say that there's no stores in it, but you know, like how up here you could go to the mall and you know you're gonna leave with a whole outfit. Tatola, you probably gotta go to 10 stores before you get an outfit put together.
And then you gotta pay an arm and a leg just to. And don't get me wrong, and I understand, because when you bring in something and you have to pay
clearance,
like all these different costs involved, I understand why companies have to mark their stuff up. But at the same time, it's just like, bro, like. So it's like lots of different things to consider, just like even for, I would say, me looking at my accessibility to getting things, because I remember when I was living in Tatola and everything was like, okay, you buy something online and by the time you pay to clear it, you don't pay for it like 3 times.
Yeah,
and it's like,
oh God.
And then my issue with it, right? My issue with the whole thing is that I would say patience if the compensation.
Oh, that's another factor right there.
The cost of living. Because it's like, okay, we understand that we consider it international and there's going to be a cost to clear things and companies have to mark their stuff up. Okay, we get that. But pay me so I could shop local.
Listen, I don't know how people survive back home, you know.
I was Tatola. Granted, no experience, but still, I had my bachelor's degree. That is big title, and assistant human resources manager. I wasn't even making $30,000 a year. What the hell is that? Like, I couldn't even help myself pay him mortgage.
And then that mortgage.
Take care of my kids.
Mortgage.
I could have been taking care of my daughter.
Mortgage is a whole other factor. Because to have a house in Tatola, you're paying a $5,000 mortgage every month. And that's on the lower end. Like, at this point, there's no opportunities for young people to be successful, honestly.
Not with what we get paid, especially if you're talking more so public sector. Private sector seems to be pretty okay on the statutory boards, but when you're talking public sector, it's like, And then from me, right, just coming up after Jenny and Charles and Alan and Sandy, who literally pour into the BVI from a public sector standpoint. Personally, I don't want to work for the private sector. I don't want to contribute my skill set, my knowledge, my expertise into the private sector, because it's like, that still helps the territory and the economy and stuff like that. But I want to directly give to the source that gave to me. And I had a national scholarship to go to college, so I want to be able to give back to the government. So, geez, I can't do that when I got 6-figure student loan debt. And it's like, how am I going to pay the student loan debt when I barely pay me enough to pay rent? Like, how? So, there's a lot of different things that I have to consider as well, because I have a child and I'm definitely not going to put myself in a situation where my quality of life compromised and I can't feed my child because I try and give back. Like, giving back is great, don't get me wrong, but it gotta make sense all across the board. Like, I want to give back and I want to also be compensated for doing that.
And not only that, you gotta think about your family too. It's like, if you at a point where you know you have the opportunity to make something of yourself somewhere that could really help your family, it's like, why would I come back home for all of us to be here struggling? That don't make no logical sense. For me to go lean upon you, that don't make no sense. And, you know, I think what a lot of people do, how people really survive, is you kind of got to stay home with mommy and daddy, build up your money, and then kind of branch out, because nobody can afford to work in the private sector and pay rent.
That's fine.
Unless you're to the point where your career just up there and you know you're making that kind of money. But I mean, for the young people, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
No land for you, no house for you, no, like,
check us on the flip.
So it's like you're in your country and you want to give to your country, but your country slapping you in the face.
I mean, and not to say that they're entitled to give, but at the same time, it's just like in America, you have to put certain measures in place to also help the young people get off their feet. You know, so it's not like you're saying, I waited for the government to give me a handout or anything like that. Don't get us wrong. But at the same time, it's like I can't be coming back with a master's degree and I barely making $40,000. How? But this is what I say. It's like, how? So I done went and I accumulate debt with student loans. Because most people, that's their reality. They're taking out student loans to be able to pay for their schooling. I got to pay back these student loans. Like, how you really expect me to pay rent, have a child, pay back student loans, buy groceries, help my mother and my father, and still be able to work towards building a house?
Yeah. To me,
it just don't add up. It don't add up.
It really goes back to, we really want to see our people doing well, or we kind of like to see our people struggling. And I honestly don't believe that we like to see our people struggling, but at the same time, it's like, we're not really actively doing stuff to help because this really been the BVI for a very long time, and it's like over time you don't really see no improvement. You don't really see no massive, we're going to increase salaries for public officers. It's just like a continuum, and it's like,
to me, I don't have
with knowing that people literally out here struggling with the salaries that y'all giving them. Like,
but then it goes back
that's
to
what we doing.
I think that nobody, especially in government, just saying like, oh yeah, I want to see people do bad.
Of course not.
But
I was being sarcastic when I said it.
When you ain't feeling somebody struggle, it's very hard for you to have that emotional connect to what a person going through. When you going home with your paycheck and somebody else struggling to feed their family, put food on the table, it's very hard for you to relate to what is that person going through. Right. But at the same time, it's some things about our economy that we going to work on. We going to have to work on,
and
because just me looking at it, tourism right now ain't saying shit. We are seeing what's going on with the financial services industry, all these regulations and stuff that really stunning the whole growth of financial services. So it's like, okay, what's our plan C?
Yeah.
Because what was normally our plan A and our plan B kind of getting tampered with. So what's our plan C? And you see, these are the conversations that I think need to happen. You got to bring the young people who got fresh ideas. The young people who done went to America, see certain things, and it's like, okay, I could see us doing this in our country. Them is the kind of people, but we got this thing of, it's politics and that one is my constituent, so I can't let her go home.
And this is the thing, because you gotta recognize too, okay, that person, right, that been in the system, been in the public sector for about 50, I'm not say 50, like I must say that's a lot.
I mean, some people got that kind of time and
let's just say about 20, 30 years, right? Think about, like, we really got dissect it. Think about when they went to school. Did they have a college degree, right? But think about when they went to school back in 1981.
Things done change.
So now you realize that curriculums changed since then. There's been a lot of innovation. There's been a lot of the way business was probably taught back then is different to how it's taught now. So you got this person in this position that operating based off of their knowledge, their experience, what they learn, right? And obviously experience that they gain on the job too. But there's no innovation because the world done gone here, but they over here because this is what they know. And then it don't make sense because why the hell, all caps, we continue to send out these national scholarships, investing in young people to go to college.
Yeah.
$20,000 a year, you know. But at least when I go there, that's why it was if I get more than me. But $20,000 a year to go to college, and then when you come back, you can't even be in a meeting to offer your perspective. What the hell you send me school for?
But that's the thing.
So just sit down here and file papers?
Not just from the person who went school perspective, but even from the government perspective. What kind of logical sense that
makes? But that's what I was talking about. It's a waste of an investment.
Pouring back into your... That's
exactly the point I was making.
Yeah,
it's a wasted
investment.
It's like, why are you sending me to school for me to come back here and sit down and
sit down like a dodo?
You realize you just waste $20,000? Not even $20,000, because if you send me school for 4 years, that's $80,000. You just waste $8,000.
It's two things. It's a lack of strategy, and I also think that we have this thing in our culture of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're very stuck on our ways, and it's like we ain't willing to let the young people come in. Don't get me wrong, I understand that it has to have a balance, because you can go, and get all the experience you get, but it still have to have people who
Seasoned
solid and
and know the
seasoned to
system
basically
and-
be
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
I see where you're going with this, but let me tweak it this way.
But it
so,
just kind of seems like it's just like a barrier. It's
yeah,
like,
you either
no,
on the right
I don't
or you on the
want
left.
you.
Yeah.
It's like, sit down, file this paperwork, type this letter, and it's like, I got a whole bachelor's degree. How come I type a letter?
And you notice how much people staying in America, young people ain't moving back home. They go in school and they realizing, what? I got an opportunity to make 6 figures up here.
Let me tell you
and
something.
I fresh out of school.
Depending on what
What
state
home?
you're in,
Nah.
depending on what state you are in, fresh out of college, jobs are offering you 40, 45.
Especially with certain degrees. You see, if you have business, finance, accounting, listen.
And all you need is your foot in the door. Listen.
And you walk
we
your...
moved-
Yep.
We moved to Atlanta. Where were we in 2021? We moved to Atlanta 2019. This one done get promote a pay increase and then a promotion within like the pay increase come within the first year, the promotion come the second year. I just got promotion. It's like once you get your foot in the door and you show the potential, then man going promote you.
And that's the
So
thing.
it's like when you back home, it's like it took
You
me,
walking
it's
your
kinda like
ass
you
off,
walking,
and it's like
walking,
no
and it's like,
opportunity. Listen,
we
even,
appreciate you.
not even that. What do they call that thing where you just have to get like where you don't go before the PSC and them thing?
Permanent and pensionable.
All of that. You walking, busting your ass, and it taking people out 3-4 years before them even become permanent and pensionable. Like what?
We got
we got to
I
do
feel like we don't
better.
drag or feed on things that.
And then when the young people resort to other things, don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying doing illegal things, but I'm saying when the young people resort to these things, the elder ones want to sit down and say, what wrong with he? He wasn't brought up like that. You got to look at people's circumstances. Don't get me wrong. You got people who just out there doing things for doing things sake. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times the reality is people hurting, people struggling. Like we really got to come up with better systems. Even like with America, don't get me wrong, you know. I don't know the ins and outs of how Tatola does work as far as, you know, offering incentives to the community, right? But I just drawing examples. Even things like these the stimulus, all these different things that the government put in place. Unemployment benefits, so people who ain't working, they have it at a heightened kind of situation where before, you know, it was a little bit more strict, but because of COVID, they kind of slacken the requirements. All these things, but again, it ties back to a stable economy. If you don't have a stable economy, you can't do all these things.
They definitely have to come up with some better systems, because I definitely think that we have some stuff in place that been in place for years. And it's just like, okay, this is just how we've been doing things. And not to say that people or governments haven't come in place and tried to make changes, but it's still like I don't know. I don't feel like the level of progression in the BVI is as significant as it could be or should be.
Especially when you hear people talking about the BVI from the outside, like we saw taste and prestige, and when you actually live in the place, it's like, oh, like
it literally had a video the other day of the top five, the wealthiest Caribbean islands, and the British Virgin Islands was on the list.
But that's the thing, so it's either you're rich or you're poor. That's the problem.
Wealthy.
It got people who got stupid struggling. But you see, since that ain't the reality for everybody. It have
everybody,
a lot of people who doing well, and that's the problem. It have a gap. It got people who doing extremely well, and you got people who doing extremely horrible. So it's like we got to find ways to really. It almost like you don't have a middle class. You either upper class or you lower class at this point. So, listen, we just in, you know, tying back the whole purpose of the video. Currently, is a no. I would go back home to visit and like make sure my family straight, because I have a lot of things that I personally would like to do in terms of investing back into my economy. But to say I would set up my life, my only thing that I really like, honestly, like I like the whole concept of like gardening and stuff. So from that perspective, I would like to go back home, but it ain't like a deal breaker that I got to be. You could garden up here. We could garden up here. So, but it's just, my biggest thing is the fact that home is home no matter what you think of it. And that's where the majority of our family is at the end of the day. So it's like, it's still kind of like, it's a question mark. But, and if I have to think about my daughter and opportunities, even like, you know, their connections with people on social media and all these different things, being able to attend meet and greets, and it just is a lot more opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a lot of opportunity, and I'm gonna ride that wave of opportunity. And if I get to that point where, okay, I'm doing well enough for myself, but I could set up a place of, you know, residence back home and still be able to do up here and travel back and forth. That would be my ideal situation.
Mine, but honestly, I think that for me, definitely right now, not to say that it's a permanent no, but for right now, for me, it's definitely a no. From the perspective of, I said, like, you know, quality of life and things like that. Like, home is always going to be home. Like, that's my baby, that's my heart.
Right.
Like nobody can ever try to talk to me about the BVI. Like, what? I will fight you.
I don't talk about my country, no, but don't talk about my country.
Don't try to do that. Like, don't try to come to the BVI, right? But like, on some real shit, love to be home. Like being home is such a vibe. That I don't even understand. Like, being home is such a vibe, right? But it's like, when you think about, again, just the opportunities and the quality of life and all these different things, and thinking about, okay, what's going to be the outcome for your kids? Weighing the pros, weighing the cons. And it's like, for me, always going to be America. And it's not that I don't love my country, or like I say, it's going to be a permanent no. But for where I am right now, just looking at, okay, if I move back home, I gonna get a job that probably gonna pay me like, let's say maybe, big maybe, all caps and bold, $40,000. I have a master's and I'm about to have my doctorate.
That's a slap in the face.
That's a slap in the friggin' face. Like how? Whereas now I up here and I already making more than that without the doctorate. So it's like, how? So for me, it's like, it don't add back up. It's like, you get the pro of the beautiful scenery, because you can't take that from us.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take that. Like, the BVI, Virgin Islands, Caribbean people.
Listen, forget the scenery. Give me the food.
I will come into that. You have the family
give me the
food. And then you have the culture. So it's like, it's always a vibe. But then, I can't just be on some vibe shit.
Right.
When it's like, I can't pay my bills and I struggle and I can't feed my child. I can't even build a house if I wanted to. It's like, no. So, for me right now, it's definitely a big...
And that's not to say that America don't have the issues in it, because don't get me wrong, all these mass shootings and stuff is scary. America is a very scary place to be living in right now. Honestly, it's like you can't do nothing without looking over your shoulders. But at the same time, it's like you gotta accept the fact that these are the times we living in, and you either gonna walk around shook or you gonna live. As much as America might have its downfalls or whatever, the opportunity. And this is something you're going to hear a lot of Caribbean people saying. The opportunity to do things. To me, it's like the Caribbean just got too much politics because of the small island mentality. You go up trade to file a trade license. Oh, that's a data. That island data. I blocking it. All these stupid little things is like, I up here nobody don't listen. If I don't want to brush my teeth and go Walmart, mean brushing my teeth. If I don't want to change my clothes from last night and go Target, mean changing my clothes. Listen, nobody ain't studying you.
That is
nobody ain't studying you.
Facts. It's like,
Listen.
Tatola, you super conscious. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I wear the jeans pants last week. I can't wear it again this week because people can take me down clothes. And it's like, up here, Miss Anna can wear the same jeans pants every day and go walk. And ain't nobody studying me. Ain't nobody even watching me. It's like, oh, hey, Danielle.
Tatola, you have to have thick skin. And that's really why it come down to, like, you got to be able to live there and be comfortable with people talking about you. It's just the reality of it. You can't run away from the gossip and the he say and the she say and who she thinks she is, who tell them go do that, who like the pessimistic and the negative energy, no shade but shade. It just present. It just present and ain't nothing you could do about it.
The toxicity does something to me, dog. Like on a serious level. And it's like, obviously, you, like my sister said, you have to get to a point where shit really don't bother you.
It don't phase you.
That's the type of mentality and persona you have to have living in the BVI. You have to have a vibe about you where it's like, oh, you say a crackhead? Yeah, a crackhead.
Let me tell you
like,
something.
Just gotta be like, whatever. You can't take on people talking shit.
Where my father would be talking to somebody, you know. And it's like, Pop, no, this person can't stand, you know.
Yeah.
And
I used to blow me down.
I used to be like, and when the person walk, I used to be like, Daddy, you can't be serious. I used to be like, kid, we live in a small society. You got to play the game with people or you ain't going to get nothing to. And let me tell you, that's something that stick with me. Don't get me wrong, and I still kind of like, don't come around me. Like, that's me. You don't let me, don't come around me. But still, I kind of learn, like, living in a small society like that where this person going to be the same person who got signed off on a project. You can't relay your feelings because you ain't going to get nothing to do.
But it just goes back to, again, comparing America to Tatola, right? In America, you walk up someplace and, yeah, sometimes there might be some racial stuff, you know, going on, right? But 9 times out of 10, what you going to get going to be based on merit.
Yeah.
If your credit score ain't right, then sis, you ain't
denied.
If you got the right credit score, then sis, we going to approve it. It don't matter who your mother is, who your grandparents is, what your last name is. It don't matter where you went to school. It don't matter who you're affiliated with. It don't matter what district you're in. Like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's based on merit.
Yeah.
And in Tatola, everything is based on your relationship, who you know, who you're from.
I mean, they got people who don't do things based on merit, but still it's like, girl, I know you from, you're a little girl, you know. Listen, hire me because I capable, not because you know my grandmother, you know my grandfather, you know my father. Like, no, hire me.
I remember when I had interview somewhere, and it was like it was somebody that was like really high up, right? And I had done get a job, but I had to like meet with a person formally. And when I went to the person's office and sat on, the person had this like intimidating look on them face, like them about to drill me. And I was just like, whatever, because I had done hair about the person. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. First question. Which weekly are you?
That's
which weekly are you?
Up.
Not good morning, not good afternoon, which weekly are you?
That shouldn't even be a question.
Listen, I kid you not, when I told them who I was, whole mood changed.
Wow.
The person got so friendly and so, yes, Dr. Whitley, that's I worked with him and your dad. I used to work with your dad. Listen.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but still, I'd rather get a job because I got a potential. And that same thing happened to me when I was doing like not job training, but like summer, working for the summer. And I went and they called me for the interview or whatever. And as I walk in, I only do this for formality, you know. I don't know who you are, and I know you solid.
And this is the thing.
Job
how you want to give me a job?
hand.
How you want to give me a job because of who I am?
Yeah.
I don't know why you doing.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing.
Yeah.
So like when I leave the interview, right, or like the meeting or whatever, I felt great. But then, like, when I really think about it, it was like, if this was somebody else, this would not go so good.
Yeah.
Or if I were different with me, who them didn't know, it would not go good. And it's like, how come? Because you should be judging me
based
or
on my credentials,
having a conversation with me based on what my resume say, what
why is that
potential
even
I
a
bring into the
question?
table. Your whole mood changed because you connecting my ability to what my grandparents them do.
For true.
No, supposedly nothing like that.
Me as bright as Janina.
None are we.
Listen,
none are we in as bright as
Jenny. So listen,
None.
people need to stop that shopping. They don't hold me up to the standard of my grandparents. Them people is not.
Listen, my grandmother brain is on another level. Like on another
Listen,
level.
summa cum laude straight. Barely. What cum laude everywhere. Don't get me wrong, and I mean dumb, but my circumstances were very different by the time I went off to school.
Definitely.
But yeah, like don't hold me up to the standards of the people. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing.
Dr. Whitley, Dr. Charles Whitley, Pana done been principal, assistant principal, principal at a high school, chief education officer, permanent secretary of education, president of the college, and you try and say that you gonna give me a job because of what my grandfather doing education, but me in education though I ain't
Facts.
I ain't in education.
Facts.
So it's like what you doing?
And it have situations where it's the opposite because it ain't always going to be people who like who you're for. So that's another side to it. It could work against you too because as much as they got other people who love our parents, grandparents, a lot of them don't like them neither. So and we got it bad because it's on both sides. It's on our mom's side and our father's side. So all of those little things is kind of like things to think about. Not that it's deal breakers, but it's things to think about in moving back home. You got to be realistic and know it gonna got some hate and it gonna got some love. That's just the reality of it. You gotta look at ability to be able to put food on the table.
Right.
You gotta look at what your income gonna look like.
Yep.
All these different things. And again, we have a whole business up here. We don't got no USPS back home. How I gonna ship these things out? I gonna be charging my customer them $40 to ship. And it's snail mail. Snail mail.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Logistically, that's just
so we just wanted to do this video here, just kind of like, I think it's something that people that ask us, like, you gonna come back home? Yeah, because I guess, for us it's like, we try and get ourselves settled and really like get ourselves put together.
But like for me personally, like one of the main reasons I still kind of been here was obviously because I still in school.
Shall one be by me? And that's how Mary had a little lamb. She don't want to be by me. That's it. She want to make it seem like it's all kind of other thing. If I had moved back to Tatola, she would have moved back to Tatola. And that's just that and that. Notice she can't speak, right? Listen. But yeah.
You done?
Are
you done?
That's really it.
So I forget what I was saying and all.
Because you wasn't saying anything other than the fact that you were staying here because I was here. Listen, I moved America to go school. Sis moved America to go school. She was like, yeah, like just let me know what date we going in.
But it's fact though, because when I had applied to do my master's at first, initially it was like, okay, we're gonna do it online. And then I remember one day she came home and she was like, Daddy said I gotta go back to school.
Daddy didn't say I gotta go back to school, but he was like, yo, you ain't staying Tatola to, not have no exposure and that. Cause my father believe in on-campus schooling. He heavy on that. Cause, you get to have that exposure and be able to really like be out there on your own. So he was like just drilling it in me because I had moved back home after I get my daughter. And he was like, yo, I think we need to revisit this going back to school together. And I was like, Lord, it's the second time he come with it, Lord. Yeah. I gotta go back to school.
It was crazy though because it's like when she come and she was like, yeah, Daddy said whatever. Like I didn't even hesitate. It was
yeah, what we doing?
What we doing?
What date?
When
what
we going? Because I was just, because like I had already known I wanted to go do my master's, and then I was also thinking about internet and how things how complex context, it probably would have been for me to do the online program.
All of that is why when I go back home, no reliable internet. So God, like I said, God funny. We are working. But that move ended up working for us, and we just kind of decide like, cause when we done finish, well, we had finished school, but she decided she wants to go back to school, and we were at the point where it's like, yo, we want to go back home. And then when we really sit down and say, cause at first I was kind of like, when I done school, I going back home.
Yeah.
And then it's like, as I start to like see different things just in the culture and like, you know, even opportunities here and being able to make more money and all these things, they were like,
but that wasn't your initial reason. That was part of the reason, but not the initial reason, because by the time you had finished your master's, Cleveland had already,
right,
and that was hard for you going back
home. I mentally too, if I go back home, I can't go back to my father's house. That just ain't gonna work. I got too much memories in that house for me to go back there. So all them different things is kind of like, I want to set myself up and be able to maybe build something back home or something like that, and then kind of, okay, well, I could think about coming back home, but you know, your girl can't leave east. So even in building a house, it's still got to be on the eastern side. Listen, yo, I mean, care what people want to say about, oh, Eastern people crazy, Eastern people poor, Eastern people polar.
No, you know why I laugh.
Crackhead.
I'm gonna tell you,
give me the crackhead then.
Crazy. I don't start thinking of a bunch of people.
Listen. I will take them crackheads any day because listen, the jokes. Listen, Eastern is just like
a vibe.
A vibe. You might meet somebody drunk along the road, some cousin.
Somebody
going see you.
No, somebody going cuss.
Listen.
Somebody going cuss.
When them see you, when you come back again, you fat.
Yeah, I'm like, you
Jesus. Listen, I love my people. Like, literally, like, genuinely love my people. Like, we one of a kind.
Yeah.
So, I think I would still go back home, like, you know, in terms of visiting, or maybe in the long run, maybe permanently. Just because, like, home is home. Like, sitting on my grandmother porch with the bread baking. And even, like, Christmas time with the caroling. Listen, when we up here for Christmas, as much as it's like, yo, America got stuff in terms of being able to give your kids. Ain't nothing like being home and drinking some guava berry rum. Some tat. So, you know, from the night before, ham done cooking, bread baking. Listen, grandfather and the guava berry rum. Ain't nothing like home.
Yeah, fact.
Ain't nothing like home.
You know, I never had nobody guava berry that was as good as grandfather.
Yeah,
like,
grandfather guava berry rum is nice because it'll be smooth.
And he the point.
Yeah, he the laser. He the laser.
No, like when you don't take like 2-3 steps
no,
bad,
you be on your back.
It's like
on your back.
You looking around like where is?
You turn stupid.
Stupid.
But yeah, guys, so that's basically it. I know we didn't really give a clear answer, but right now
we gave a clear answer. We said right now
it's a no, but still I feel like we were saying like in the long run is a possibility.
Anything possible.
Yeah.
Anything always possible. I know for me, even if I get to a point where I decide, okay, I want to be back home, I don't ever think that it would be like a permanent.
I would have a house.
I think I would
and fluctuate.
Even though I probably would spend a lot of my time Tatola, I would still come back and make sure I have a base here so that when I want vacation or if I just need to, you know, even with medical, that's another thing. Because back home, we don't have all the medical resources, right? So even if something happened and you have to travel for medical reasons, you have, like, I don't got to pay hotel and all them things. So I would make sure, like, I have a base here so that I could fluctuate. But that would be my goal.
That's why I said for me, I would like to have a house here and also have something in Tatola also. So that way, you know, you could be here, you could be there, and kind of mix it up a little bit. And then when you really get to a point where you solid and it's like, okay, I could see myself really just moving back home because I don't got to worry about having a 9-to-5 and all of that because
the other factors don't matter.
The other factors don't matter because you're comfortable. So our goal, guys, is really just to make the BVI proud. We want to make a name for ourselves out here in America, especially being island girls, not from Jamaica, not from Trinidad, not from any of those bigger islands, but from Lil Old Tatola. So that's really it. So don't judge us because we don't want to come back home. It's really a lot bigger than just not wanting to come back home. Is that we really out there hustling, like literally trying to really make a name for ourselves and for the BVA.
Yes.
That's really the goal.
Yes.
So let us know what you guys think about the video. What you guys think about some of the points that we made. Maybe if it relate to you or something like that. As usual, thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna probably be back in another 2 weeks with something else. Again, if y'all have any ideas, anything that y'all would like us to do videos on, be sure to let us know in the comments. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe. And until next time, guys.
Be safe.
Bye.